Hey guys, welcome back. This is Lucid, and we are playing Late Age Rlyeh in Dominions Enhanced on the biggest goddamn map you've ever seen. And yeah, we spawned way up here in this little corner. Except, there's not really corners on a map like this. Everything is actually pretty connected. Yeah. So, we've got Bubbles, and last turn, Bubbles forged himself some enchanted ringmail armor. He had a robe on, which I think gave him 3 or 4 protection, but this is pretty significant. He's got natural protection of 7. This will get him up to about 15 total. It's 13 for this, and then the little bit 7 on the top, and then, yeah. Anyway, it's pretty good. This will actually fully negate the damage of a good number of attacks. So it's definitely going to make a significant difference in expansion. If you don't do this, you can turn 1 expand, but he's much more fragile, and we're going to be YOLOing with him. So if you wanted to use this chassis in Dominions Enhanced to, expand into known entities, you can do that without the armor. But if you're going to do what we're doing, which is we say, we have infinite map move, and let's just go to this province, and we have no idea what's here, you're going to need this. Now, full disclosure, this can fail. And this can fail, I would say probably 1 in 40 times, if that much. Is very unlikely to fail. And when it fails, he's not going to die. He's generally going to retreat. But if we're YOLOing like that way off, that equals death. But that will only happen before we get Alteration 1. Once we get Alteration 1, that will unlock Skeletal Body, which the only times I've seen it fail were when we don't have Skeletal Body. So anyway, if we get Skeletal Body, underwater most things have piercing damage, and that's mostly where we're going to be expanding. So this is basically going to be, effectively doubling his region through... it's going to be cutting our damage coming in half, is what it's basically going to do. And specifically, the types of enemies we have the hardest with are special, underwater cavalry, because we have a hard time hitting them, and they tend to do piercing damage. So this is good against, not only generally, but against, the worst case. So we get that. We also get luck, which is nice, personal luck. And that's about it. I don't think there's anything else particular. It would be cool if we got Barkskin, but we don't have that path on our god. The other thing is Oceania has posted that they... do I not have it here? I don't think I take them up on it this turn. Though maybe I do. I can't remember. I may take them up on it next turn. We'll see. I think I do to send it to him this turn. I think I send him my gems. I don't know why that order's not in. But, yeah, they basically say they're going to pay 40 gold per pearl. And this is a very good deal for them. Because they basically, I think they have a Research 0 alchemy spell where they can turn pearls into gold. And they probably have an alchemist god with high astral access or whatever it is. And with that, people are going to send them pearls and they're going to turn them into gold. And they're going to make 70, 80, 90 gold a pearl. And then they're going to give us half of it. And so for them, they're making money from nothing, right? They're just basically, it's like they're the Fed and they're just running the money machines, printing money. The thing is, though, is it's such a good deal at this part in the game that there's nothing I have to do it. It's so good of a deal. It's going to change my first fort timing. And the way I've been thinking about expansion is that the problem is we're going to use our god to get control of choke points. And this is the most important one because this is... Controlling this jellyfish will control access to the water systems of both these planets. And that is something I desperately, desperately want. Okay, so, that's something we want. But this water point can be accessed from down here, which is right adjacent to somebody's cap. And this happens to be middle-aged middle-aged Rlyeh. And I've suggested a squid alliance, a tentacle alliance to him, and he seems open to the idea. But anyway, I don't want him getting this, because my whole strategy, the whole reason I got this god, was around controlling this jellyfish, and then controlling Valanus, and God's Glory, the underwater systems here. So we need to get on it. But the problem is, the more I do of this with my god, which I want to do a lot of, the more I'm going to be killing my own income, because I can't trace income from any of this till I get a fort up. Therefore, the money that I'm going to need, like I don't want to shut down or slow down very much production of troops here, but the timing of my first fort is going to be absolutely critical for my success, because not only do I want to start tracing income from here, but I also don't want to be saving up for my fort. What I want to do is I want to start recruiting indie units in every fort I conquer over here and start doing expansion. Because what's going to happen is amphibious nations on these planets are going to come in and try to take over their water system, and that's probably not going to play with us. So we'll have to see. We will have to see. And I'm probably, I don't know how nice I'm going to be or how mean, but I'll probably just take it from them, depending on what it looks like. I'll probably just take their stuff. But we'll see. I have to move quickly, because within probably 16 turns, this is going to be taken. Now, most of these land nations are probably going to think, I've got plenty of time to take it because underwater nations are going to take a while getting here. Well, we're going to be going there fast. So anyway, that's the goal. If this doesn't work out, we have a backup plan to head down here to Silent Seas and get some of this. And if that doesn't work, we'll just have to content ourselves with being, like a 20 province player on Asaloon. If things go well, we will be probably like 60 provinces. That's our goal. On land, you have to be a lot more concerned about a coalition. Underwater, I think we will probably be okay. But we'll see. This is not a map I'm going to be super afraid of getting coalitioned on. But, well, okay, that's not true. I'm scared a little bit. But we'll see. Also, by the way, thank you, Boz, he made this the little tri-pillar here. This is our little outpost. Okay, so that's that. Our expansion party, let's talk about it. We're coming over here. You can see we have big morale penalties on troops that don't really have great morale to start with. We get the friendly Dominion bonus. We get the squad morale bonus. This is from us splitting up into too many squads. This will go away as soon as we leave, and then we get the Taskmaster. So this will actually go down to 8, which is not very good morale, and you usually don't want to split your squads up like this. The thing is, making good contact with the enemy is the most important thing, and our guys are all different speeds, and we can't combine them. I would ideally combine these guys together, because they're close enough, they're only 1 apart. But you can't combine mindless with non-mindless units. Crap. And then these guys, we can't combine with these, because these are twice as fast. So we have to split these guys up. And then these guys, I believe, need to be in a separate squad. When I put these guys in fire closest, they tend to run into combat after, or like hold in fire closest. Maybe fire closest would work, but then I can't do hold and attack. Hold and fire closest, I tried it, and these guys end up running into combat. But if I could stick them in another thing, it would be better. I don't know. I could test it more, but so far it hasn't worked. I might fire up a test game, see if I can get it to work. But anyway, we're having our profit coming in, and our profit is Profit of Bubbles 001. We'll try to keep up the numbering, but we'll forget, because we're already going to be stretched thin on micro. But we'll do it for a little while, because it's funny. And yeah, we're going to be spamming out Smite. We're going to be firing with this guy's a Mind Blaster, and then we got 3 Mind Blasters here. The point of the Mind Blasters is much less to kill things. It's to split them up as they run in, so that you're not fighting quite as many dudes all at once. It's going to be less effective against larger squads of chaff like this, but against like sea trolls or something, it's really good. And if we bump, it's usually pretty good, because like enemy players, whoever spawns up here, they would probably, either it's their god, which paralyzing them would be really nice, or it's, like some cavalry or something. Now, who I spawn near is going to be one of the primary focuses of this episode. The nations I want to spawn next to least are Pelagia. The other guy who's playing Rlyeh down here, playing middle-aged Rlyeh, he and I have been talking, and he's played Rlyeh probably a good bit more than I have. I've only played it maybe 2 or 3 times. But he was saying Scales Rlyeh actually does good against Pelagia. And I don't agree. I don't agree. I think they can hold, and they can maybe put up a very good fight, and maybe even win if they outplay, but a Pelagia with a +3 magic resistance plus, which I think you have to be crazy not to take. Yeah, a Pelagia with that kind of bless is going to probably ruin like you have to imagine like 40-something knights running across. They would just ruin, I think, a lot of the Rlyeh and stuff. We can't use tramplers. I don't know. I don't think there's anything here. Maybe these guys. I think this is our best troop still. I like this troop a lot. I think one of the mistakes, like if you want to upgrade your Rlyeh game, one of the things I think you can do is stop trying to expand with the Atlanteans if you're for underwater expansion. If you're trying to go on land, it's totally different. But for underwater, these guys are so much better. 9 gold, 11 resources, 6 recruitment points. Compare that to like these dudes. They're basically the same, 1 more resource, but they have 3 more hit points. And it's a 10-18 attack versus this, which is an 11-20. So it's 1 more attack score, which actually makes a pretty big difference. And it's 2 more damage, which when you factor in things like protection actually makes a big difference. And 3 more hit points. That 3 hit points matters. It matters a lot. Yeah, and their defense skills 1 lower too on this chassis. And the armor is 1 higher on this one too. And they have it's 1 higher because of their head, basically. They have a hat on. In my opinion, this is far superior to the Atlantis troops if you're going to be staying underwater. I don't think this will do great against the cavalry, but it will do well enough, and they're massable enough that, I don't know, I could probably put up a fight. And you can stack Mind Blasters. The problem is, like, as soon as Anti-Magic comes out, which, by the way, will be a while, so we can do Mind Blasters, but ooh, once Anti-Magic comes out, Mind Blasters suck. They don't suck, but they're not great. You don't want an army focused on Mind Blasters when Anti-Magic comes out. So anyway, we're going to be coming over here hitting this. We'll watch next turn, and we'll see how good of a job we do having everybody hit it once, which is the goal. That is the plan. Okay, yeah, you can see we got 120 gold from Aretha. This is from selling them 3 pearls. So if you look, our pearls are cleared out. We've been sending them. This turn, they said they would give 30 gems per other gem type. And so we're sending them all our water gems we've made so far. And that is because we need money. And in fact, we'll watch the battles. But in fact, it's possible I'm going to be able to build my first fort next turn, which is crazy fast. So our god, we scripted Twist Fate and then Fire for Mind Blast. And we actually probably could snipe commanders if we wanted to, like attack rear. But we actually just want to kill as many of these guys as we can. But yeah, you can see he's super good. Unfortunately, he got diseased, which doesn't matter because we've got disease resistance. Okay, and then coming down. We're mind blasting them. We're on fire closest, so it should keep hitting this squad. And you can see it's thinning them out. And this was not really great contact. They're all hitting at about the same, like, round. But some of these guys got trapped back here. And these are my damage dealers. Now, both of these are engaged in combat. So this square is going to pop. And these guys are engaged on the flank. That was about what it should look like. I don't know if we had it perfect. We probably could have adjusted things by like a tile. But yeah, we've got pretty good. We lost some Lobo Guard, but that's what they're there for. They were in the middle to mainly take the hits, and then the guys on the flanks were doing the killing. So that was as intended. A little high attrition. You'd like to take a bit less, but now what we're doing, I didn't mention this last episode, or not last episode, last turn. We had gotten a nature random for our first one. Unfortunately, he got insanity 10, which is a rather high roll considering we only have 2 candles. This guy's already gotten 5. They're getting pretty unlucky insanity rolls, but what are we going to do? Anyway, we're going to use him to bring a squad down here, and we're going to have, basically we want to consolidate. This army might be able to expand again on its own, but there's also a chance they could fail. We see Shark Tribe here 20. We'll see what it is next turn to get an average. But yeah, Shark Tribe is going to be a little tricky. Our god can handle it no problem, but we don't want to use our god for that. We're going to be basically doing the same thing. We're having this guy slamming, basically joining up with these mermen or slave guardians. They're going to slam into a flank. And we've got more people firing. And we're now getting... Mind Blasters kind of work in a critical mass. Because if you have enough of them, you disrupt their formation so much that people really do trickle into the front, which is what we want. So hopefully this will have a good deal less attrition. And we're going to basically dump these troops onto this guy, and this guy's going to site search. Now, the reason we wanted a nature random is a fewfold. One is, if you look at all the different randoms you can get, basically these two are elemental. And if we're going to be Voice of Tiamatting our land, which is a water spell that basically is going to site search all the elemental paths for you underwater, then doing more site searching in these paths is going to be wasted. And anyway, the astral is something we're probably going to either do arcane probing to find it deeper, because you really kind of want to site search astral if you can all the way up to 4, or we'll be sending out one of our cap only mages to do it. Probably the cap only mage. And then the nature, this is something that we especially want to site search, because this is our only mage that gets nature. So obviously we're going to want our nature ones of these out site searching. And there is a chance, it's not super high, but if you want to roll the dice, basically. There's a chance that you find a kelp fortress. And they're reasonably common. They're common enough, it's worth making sure you site search nature early. Because if you do, you basically get a free fort. So we really want to site search nature early. Now, you can see we're not making Mind Blasters. And this is different than what we would normally do. And we have a lot of recruitment points. I actually could fit in 3 Mind Blasters here. And we would like to, but the problem is I want next turn to build a fort. Because over here we've taken this. It is a kelp forest, so high income. Everything here is going to be high income. We're getting a commander here. And because I'm selling these gems, I'm going to have enough money to build my first fort starting this turn. And this is going to be phenomenal. And the reason it's going to be phenomenal is because this will mean I can start collecting income from all of my wild and crazy adventures on these other planets. And from here, I've got access down to here. This province actually connects up to this one. So we can just come in here. We're going to be, as soon as I make this expenditure on the fort, we're going to make sure we're maxing out cap recruitment. And once I have cap recruitment done, we're going to start spamming out indies here. And every one of these provinces over here, we're going to get indies on. I'm not going to do another fort probably for a while, because we're going to be just slamming indie production. So that's the plan over here. Put 10 PD there to start getting our unrest down a bit. Our cap, the unrest is going to go up until we can afford a Lobo Guard patrol squad, but that's going to be a bit. So anyway, I think this is about the most we can get. We're basically using up all our resources, and we're using, we're getting a mage, so that we can, at least make use of this fort while hopefully saving the bare minimum we need to get a fort up next turn. Yeah, and so we're going to be slamming into these dudes, and our god, Bubbles, with his disease, is going to get this choke point. Now, why there's a starting spot right here. Why I've chosen to get this choke point is because these are all 3 large provinces. They're not kelp forests or anything, but they're going to have higher than average income. They'll probably be about 10k population. The good ones will. Some of them will probably roll less, like 7,000 or something. But they're potentially very valuable provinces. And this is as close as I can get, I think, to these guys without provoking a war. So if I get this, and it's a choke point. So if he's going to attack me, I'm going to get to see him do it. Right? I'm going to get to do a big PD dump, and it's going to be extremely hard for them to attack into me. So it seems like a very reasonable thing to do. The other thing is that I have found, just because this thing is actually in this guy's cap circle. And so we have found it's Old Oceania up here. Now, Old Oceania, I don't know. I probably need to figure out the DE stuff these guys get. But it's basically kind of like Pangea under the sea. Yeah. But these guys are pretty good. They would probably trade pretty well with my troops. But they're not phenomenal. They do have this poison barbs, which would be annoying. Anyway, they're going to be annoying. They also have these guys, which are pretty good. They go berserk. They're fine. There is a chance, depending on their build, they could rush me. And I thought about it. The thing is, I can take my god, and believe me, I have clicked it here, okay? I have gone like this several times, and I've been like, I know if I jump on their fort and I start messing with their expansion party, if they don't have an awake god that's really scary, we'll just win. And not only will we win, but we have a decent chance to dom kill them because our god is a dominion spreader. So, yeah. I've thought about it. The problem with doing that is, sure, okay, what would happen if I do that? I would get Doom of Asaloon, which would be nice. That would give me probably access to Blandos, but I may run out of time. What it's going to prevent, though, is it's going to prevent giving me access to all of this underwater on Volanus and on God's Glory. And it's going to slow down my expansion, because I'm going to need to send troops to siege the cap rather than expand, rather than getting choke points. I think it is a very bad move. But if I thought, like, if it were Pelagia, I would really have to think about it. Because the problem of not doing it with Pelagia would mean that I'm probably going to lose when they run at me. That's probably what it would mean. So, yeah. Anyway. It's, fortunately, it's not Pelagia. We have to figure out where they are. I'm not sure where they are. I don't think I know, aside from Rlyeh down here. The other thing that's worth pointing out, so Rlyeh's connection, which we can see here. We can actually see Rlyeh's capital. It says it right here. Is blocked by Shark Tribe. And this is a huge win for me, because there's a few things. One is I don't really want people to know what my god is. I mean, that's going to get out pretty fast. But me taking this, he certainly has, I know he's, because we've talked, he has noticed he's connected to like here, so he can actually invade Doom of Asaloon through this point, going up here into Doom of Asaloon. So he's been looking at the star system, and I'm sure he's also noticed this Jellyfish. I don't know if it's occurred to him how important it is for underwater nations to get into these particular worlds, and that this is the gateway. But me blocking him off from doing that, which is what my move here is, could be interpreted hostilely. Now, we're not going to attack him through that. But I don't want to... I want to control this. And it's not like it's his right to control it. He just has access to it. You know, this... Somebody could come up here and get access to it through here, too. So this is a very contentious point, and I want to control it. And I don't want to make a diplomatic kind of incident of it. You know, I don't want to piss him off, and I don't want to have to PD dump it. And if I saw a boatload of units here, I'd probably have to PD dump it, even if we were nominally at peace. Okay, so there's that. And yeah, that's basically this turn. We'll go ahead and go to turn 4, which I think is my current turn. So we will log in. We will log right on in. And let's see what we got this turn. So we attacked here. This with our army. One thing I'm interested, I had this guy scripted to do sleep rays. I don't think it did much, but we'll see. kind of weird he ran back. We'll watch this again, because there's some interesting things we can pull from this. I was busy watching that commander. So the contact we make here isn't great. They're split in 2 squads. This first squad is going to run in and hit this, and the second squad is going to run past. Now, this is a very bad engagement right here. And I think my scripting could be better. Like, I think these guys need to obviously be a little bit farther forward and maybe a little closer in. This is fine, because these Guardians are badass, but this line kind of gets wrecked here. So this was a bit of misscripting, and because of it, we ended up losing 7 low bar guard. We probably only needed to lose like 3 or 4. So we had double losses due to bad scripting there. And we're sending our god here. We found sea trolls, which you might think are scary for a god, and they hit really hard, but they're not going to be able to hit us. The water strike's annoying because it's going to go through a lot of our stuff, but we kill that guy. Killed this guy, yoink. Okay. We're still afflicted with disease, which is only annoying in the sense that we want to get this off so that if we get another affliction, we want that to get removed quickly. And this is not a terribly valuable province. It's only 7,000, so it's a pretty low roll. And we don't see who's down here yet. But what I do see is we're right next to Great Errata, and this is one of the mod nations. Great Errata is being played by the guy who, in the previous game, big game, with where I was playing Late Age Home, he was playing Arcadia, and we were allies for a very long time. So I trust this player a lot. Unfortunately, this time he's playing a very, very fast scale or hard scaling nation. And the main feature about this nation, there's probably a lot of things about it, but the main thing about it that I know is they, once a year, the beginning of spring or something, they can summon particular mages. And I believe it's a blood ritual or something, right? And so you basically bank up blood slaves all year, and at the certain time in that year, you spam out as much as you can of this one mage, and those mages will free spawn basically like Lemuria ghosts that are sacred, which you can imagine would be kind of cancerous. So these guys are basically very fast scaling free spawn production. So we'll be less inclined to be peaceful towards him, but that being said, we are going to generally not be messing with land nations. But importantly, once he gets ghosts, he will be a threat to me underwater. The other thing we see Mictlan is over here. And this is early age Mictlan, so he's got jaguars and some other dudes. And so I've reached out to both these players. This player has been able to share with me a lot of the start locations of people. He has shared with me that Krieg has started over here, and they're a demon nation. I don't recall who starts over here, but anyway. And Great Errata does not have magic weapons, which apparently you're going to need, or not until they have ghosts, which apparently you need to deal with these guys. So that will be an interesting matchup. These are kind of both Cancer nations, so that's not great for me. And Mictlan's, by the way, a Cancer nation. They can also just Dominion push me all the way out of here, so that's annoying. I think someone spawns over here, and I'm not sure who this player is. So we'll have to find out. The other thing is I've talked with Mictlan, and I have told them, hey, I intend to be a good underwater neighbor. I'll sign a NAP for you, which, by the way, is not something underwater nations normally reach out to you for, right? Because underwater nations want to be able to elf you because it's asymmetrical warfare. You can't really attack them back, and like EA Mictlan can't attack back. What I've said, though, is if you will leave me this little island, which is not very valuable for Mictlan, because most of it is wasteland. These are all 4 wasteland on the coast, which means he can't blood hunt them, which is the main way that Mictlan measures province value. These are not wasteland, and these have some value, but these would be like the ones I would, like most easily be able to raid and harder for him to defend. Anyway, I've said, hey, if you'll give me these, or not give, but if you'll just accept that I have them, I won't try to come on land anywhere else. And you will have a secure border from which to execute your other wars, whether you want to attack this player over here or run over here and attack this player. Not having to worry about me backstab you would probably be a good thing. And I don't think I explained all of that, but I just said, like, you know, if you'll give me this, we can sign a non-aggression pact and you won't have to worry about me most all the game. So that is the plan. I did not say you won't have to worry about me most all the game. I just said I'd sign a non-aggression pact. But that's how I'm thinking about it. If he's getting eaten by vulture, and if he's looking completely out of control, and that we need to form a coalition, I'll do something about it. But by and large, I'm going to try to be a nice neighbor. So that's happening. The other thing is talking to Great Errata. I have figured out who's down here. And the player down here is Early Age Rlyeh, which is basically the aquatic-only version of Rlyeh. And if we look at them, a very hungry fish. They're kind of cool. They get the same troops we have, the Slave Guardians, which is what I've been using for expansion. I like them. A lot of this lineup is the same. They do not get Meteorite Guard, which are the tippy top-end troop. We're not going to be using them much for expansion because underwater, these guys are way more efficient for expansion early, in my opinion. Once we start worrying more about gold cost and less about resources, we're going to switch over to Meteorite Guard. They do not have access to this. What they do have is a very kind of cool Mind Blaster. They've got... These are basic... I think they're a little better. We could do a stat comparison. And they're sacred, too. So, depending on the bless you take, these guys can be pretty cool. These guys have more tentacles, I think. And they're a little cheaper. So, I don't know. My Mind Blasters are all 50 gold. He's got a sacred version of the Mind Blaster. Let's come up and look at mine. This is basically mine. They're better. Like, they have more HP. I don't remember if their guys have blunt resistance. I don't know. Look, it's not a huge difference. And most what you care about is the Mind Blast. They get them for 10 gold cheaper. The difference is mine are amphibious. His are aquatic only. So in some ways, it could be a matchup that favors him. They also get these guys who are really good underwater. Mind Lords are super good. And they have like an enslaved mind, fire kind of thing they can do. They're really good. They have a Soul Leech attack. It's a really strong attack. It's area of effect, so you can't dodge it. It does armor negating damage. Pretty good. And then they're phenomenal water. They're way better water mages than we are. Like, our guys are like primarily astral with a bit of water. These guys can be very good astral, but also phenomenal water. They can be like water 4, which you do water power, they're all the way up to like water 5. They can drop a lot of water elementals. They're a very strong unit underwater. So in some ways they have they're a little bit stronger than me in ways underwater. But we'll see. I'm not super worried. It's not like a super one-sided matchup where I think if they run at me, they just dominate me. But I could misunderstand it. I've obviously never played Late Age Rlyeh into Early Age Rlyeh before. So anyway, they're down here. They seemed friendly. They were told about my existence by Errata. So, yeah. Agarth is also somewhere over here. So we'll see. Hopefully they're going to be cool with this. If they're not, we'll go eat them. Because I would like to have this whole planet. But I'm also game, because I had been talking before the game a little bit about a tentacle alliance between all the eras of Rlyeh. I'm also game to have peace with them for a really long time. And from a base of owning all this stuff, I can probably do a lot of things other than attack these guys. But there's some things we have to face, which is the two biggest neighbors I'm going to have are going to be whoever spawns on Doom of Vassaloon, which is Old Oceania, and then Early Age Rlyeh. These are, in some ways, a little stronger than me underwater, depending on a bunch of factors. And I'm also stuck in between them. So it's highly likely I get 2v1'd. highly likely. So we're going to have to, this all is going to, you can't say how this is going to turn out. We're going to have to feel it out. If I can expand well over here and I get all this stuff and they don't 2v1 me early, so I can get some infrastructure up and get my feet under myself, maybe I can trade for some better items for my god, I can probably survive the 2v1 and have a bigger economy than both of them put together. At which point, if they're friendly, there's a decent chance I'll just be friendly with them for a while. If I'm really big, I don't have to eat people. But yeah, we'll see. If they're going to be friendly with me, we'll be friendly. If they're going to conspire against me, there's a decent chance if I get all of this water stuff, I can be strong enough to eat both of them. If I eat this guy and this guy, if I control all of Asaloon, all of Doom of Asaloon, all of God's Glory Water, all of Valanus Water, there's a very good chance I've just won the game. Like, and the problem with that is people are going to notice and they're going to try to do things about it. But if I'm muscled up, like if I have forts over here, I've got units, I'm not being super greedy, so I'm doing only mages. And we're not, I don't think, going to be super greedy in terms of our build. Like, we should have a lot of chaff production. Anyways, if we're smart about it, we can probably avoid, or we may be able to avoid getting coalitioned. But, oh, it would also give me potentially some of Blando's, because I'd have the water system over here. Yeah, maybe it would give me the water system on Fall of Sorrow, which is like another 6 provinces or something. 5 provinces. If I get all of that, people are going to be in real trouble. They're going to be in real trouble. I don't know what I would do. Yeah, you have the point is, if you get in that position, you have a lot of options, and all your options are good. It's when somebody else is in that position and you're a small guy that it's a problem. But look, that's like, guys, it's turn 4. We're not anywhere close to that happening. This could be the most painful 2v1 I've ever been in. I could just flat out get conquered too. Like, maybe Rlyeh has a teleporting dude, jumps on top of my capital. Who knows what is going to happen? This is, my current turn, so I have no idea of what the future holds for me. Yeah. Our god is going to expand back this way. I want to get this connected up. So one option is I've gotten the choke point. I can now take my god and do other things. What I want to do, though, is I want to get this connected up as soon as I can. So if I take this, it's going to get connected 1 turn faster, because this army will come here, and then it's going to come here. And because I do not know what's in this province, if this is really hard, it's possible this army will not be able to take it. And so then I'll need my god to take it, while these guys probably sit here and muster troops for a turn. The other thing, and this is relevant because we were talking about diplomacy, is I have signed a non-aggression pact with Oceania, and we've agreed on borders. He originally proposed, which, God, I should have accepted, was that he would just stay on the planet, but he was saying, I'm fine staying on my planet and having Blandos. But I was an idiot and was sitting here typing at the same time, hey, you can have this, because this is his cap circle. I was like, hey, you can have all this. Now, if he's going, on one hand, that may have earned me some credibility where I'm going to be a friendly neighbor. On the other hand, I'm potentially giving land away to an adversary. But I spent a lot of time thinking about it, because, I had my pretender going on top of his cap. I was sitting there thinking about, should I do it? And I decided, obviously, against it. But what it has occurred to me, and why I wanted to sign the NAP, is what I want. Sometimes it's good to just say what you want. Like, what do I want? I do not want to fight him early. I don't want it. I don't want it. If I take this, and he is a rational player, it would be instigating them into an early war, which I do not want to do. So, taking this and trying to hold it would be sub-optimizing. This is what me today thinks, and maybe me in the future will think differently. But trying to hold this today would be sub-optimizing, because I would be basically instigating a war, which would be causing the thing I most want to avoid. It would be causing that early. and it would be my own doing. So we're going to, I offered to give him that. He's agreed to take it, obviously, since he was obviously fine just having Doom of Asaloon. He's going to be fine taking some additional stuff too. So we're going to give him Doom of Asaloon. We're going to try to expand and get all of this stuff over here. And then we're going to try to get all of this stuff, which I've already said, so we're repeating. Okay, yeah, so we get this. We decide whether we need to hit this with our god next turn or not. The other thing that's important is this turn we are getting Alt 1. We have 25 RP left. We're going to do 26 research. Just enough. I calculated it perfectly. Just kidding. It seemed about right. To get these guys out. We're also, as I said, we are building a fort here. 5 months left. So things are looking very good. This is way faster than I did in my test game. So that's going to mean a lot more money rolling into money bags. So we're going to get this. If this is not taken, I think what I'm going to do is I want to block Early Age Rlyeh off from getting this province. And the way to block him from getting this province is to take this one. And this will give him as much space as I can. I want him to be kind of happy. He can come over here, get on the Jellyfish. I want him to be happy enough where he doesn't feel like he has to fight me. He gets this. He's going to have decent expansion. He's not going to be tiny. I'm getting slightly favorable borders with this Rlyeh, but I'm getting slightly unfavorable borders compared to what I maybe could have gotten versus Oceania. But importantly, we're locking in this choke point. And what this is going to do, it gives me access to this, which is the only other way to connect to Volanus, other than through Fall of Sorrow. I think there may be a connection here too, but this is not to underwater only stuff. And it does connect up here. So anyway, we'll have to see. Ideally, I get both of these. The only way I'm going to be able to get both of these, the water systems on both of these, is through this independent recruitment, which we haven't turned on yet because we're broke as shit after doing a turn 4 fort, which is a very fast fort. But this is, like I was saying, this is going to be the last fort we build for a while. So I think what we'll do, after we take this, we're probably going to take this with our god. Then I'm going to start coming over here and probably getting the rest of the Jellyfish. And the other one that's really important on the Jellyfish is this province here. It's kind of hard to see, but there's a little red line. This one, there's this province, and then this province, and then this province. Which is a weird place to put the flag in this one. There's 4 on the Jellyfish. This one is also very important. It is not as close to anybody's cap that I can tell. It does link to this water world, and this water world links to a bunch of places, like this Jellyfish. It links down here onto the planet somewhere, like here. It also links through here. There's a lot of links to that, basically. And we need to go ahead and get this province next, because this will be the other major entryway onto Volanus. And like I said, we're going to be getting indies here. And the order I get these doesn't necessarily matter, except I won't have a retreat route, which can be very important. But I think I'm going to lock this down, then I'll probably get this one to connect these two, and then I'll probably get this one. And by about that time, this fort will be popping up. The other nice thing about taking these is getting my Dominion in here. And what that's going to mean is I'm going to have a chance for a priest or for a mage to appear, or a mage priest. And if I get a mage priest, I can start building my lab and temple. They're going to be insane, so it's going to take a while, but I don't even honestly care that much about I don't even care that much about getting mages produced right now, because right now the game's slow research. Ultimately, the research I do right now is not going to matter. After I get Alt 1, that's all I care about right now. After that, it's like far off things like Construction 4, which I'm not going to be getting any value out of Construction 1 or 2 or 3. I mean, I'll get a little bit, but not a lot out of these. Once we get Alt 1 research, I don't care very much about mages right now. What I want to get is I want to get forts out, producing units, and I want to take over these water systems. So that is the plan. Plan is all about this Jellyfish. All about the Jellyfish. And we are we're exploiting an advantage that we have that other nations are not going to have. There's not many. We'll go pull it up. There's not many pretenders that can teleport around. And if you're looking to do this in vanilla, we'll talk about a little bit about how to do strategies like this on a map like this, which, by the way, there's not many maps like this. So if you're playing like Map Nuke, this is not really very relevant. Okay, so that is that. Oh, I'll show you how I've updated my formation. We have way fewer Lobo guards now, which kind of sucks. They're packed up closer. These guys are closer. They're only backwards positioned a little bit. And basically, these guys were like out here and back here. We've compacted everything. It's going to mean we're probably going to take more losses on the slave guards. But what are we going to do? What are we going to do? We've got to... This squad will be wiped out if we use them again like that. We've got a fair amount of Mind Blasters too. And this says 30 this turn. It said 20 last turn, so I don't know. It's probably 25 or 30. Could be as low as 20. 5 Mind Blast... Well, we actually have, like, effectively, because this is 5, 6, and this is kind of 7. We kind of have, like, 7 Paralyzers. So we should be able to really zap the shit out of them before they make contact with us. But Shark Tribe can mess you up really fast, so this could go south. I think we're fine. The final thing to talk about before I let you go is what we're recruiting this turn. We don't have money for Mind Blasters this turn either. So we've given up 2 turns of Mind Blaster production to get that fort out, but I think it's the right move. What we are doing is we're getting this guy, we're getting these dudes, and next turn we should be able to send these guys into the Tritons. Because these guys are weak. We can then reinforce to hit the Shamblers, and the turn after this I can make Mind Blasters. So we'll make a bunch of Mind Blasters and send them in as reinforcements, because the Mind Blasters are going to help a lot with the Shamblers. And then from there, they'll be able to come out here and take this stuff. And at that point, we'll probably switch over. We may make like a 1 reinforcement party, which will take a while, but it'll eventually catch up with them. But I might not. We may switch over to Meteorite Guard, at which point I'll try to take over this island. And so that's basically the plan. Once we are done with kind of like this mad rush of expansion, we'll be switching off of these guys. I'll probably make like a good 50 of them in case these guys want to run at me. Just to have as like a reserve. And then I will switch, or maybe not that many. We'll probably make like 40, and then we'll put the rest in Meteorite Guard. And these guys are monsters. They're so good. Okay, well, I have rambled and rambled and rambled. I wasn't sure if I'd have enough stuff to talk about with just 3 turns of not much going on in expansion, but clearly I have. I've run my mouth for quite a long time. So thank you all for joining me. And yeah, wish me luck. Wish me luck. See you next time.